Hello and welcome to the Cameo Show. I'm your host, Cameo, and we are joined by my husband and co-host, Greg Braun. Hi, Greg.
Hi, Cameo.
You never call me Cameo, don't you dare.
Hi, honey. No.
You don't call me that either.
Hey, babe.
That's better. That sounds normal.
Babe.
Greg likes to start us with a dad joke. Hit him where it hurts, Greg.
Let me give you, I got a good one here. What has more letters than the alphabet?
I don't know.
The post office.
Very good. Oh, my dad will
And
like that one.
your dad will like that one. And let me tell you a dad joke that he told me once that I thought was really funny. He said, I always want to make sure I have an extra pair of socks with me when I go golfing, just in case I get a hole in one.
Let me guess, he told you that like it was a real story.
Yep.
And you were like, oh, why? Yeah, sounds like
Oh,
my
yeah.
dad.
Yep.
Yes, Mort Dog, number one mailman in Warsaw, bringing
Abs.
mail packages and a hard time to everybody on Main Street.
Uh, and I think today we should play a fun little game called Pick a Page, where you read a page from your book and we just riff on it. And I get to pick the page. So,
Greg's coercing me into this pick a page idea. Just kidding. It's actually backed by popular demand. You guys really dig that. So we're going to do it again. Digged it, dug it. Whatever.
whatever.
Okay. You're going to pick the page like last time, like I roll
Yeah.
through. Okay.
Yeah.
Pick a page. What we're referring to, if you're new here, welcome, is a page from my recently released book, The Reset Button, which I conveniently have right here and also displayed behind me. If you're
You know
watching the
who else
video.
has it? Jeff Bezos has it for sale at his electronic storefront.
Well done. Thank you.
Hold the book up so I can see it. Just so everyone knows we're being legit here. All right, flip it slowly and I will tell you when to stop. Stop.
Page 153. Last time we talked about a scenario from the resetting how you deal with your shit section. The how you deal with your shit section is about toxic coping strategies. Man, I just can't even get words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
The resetting how you deal with your shit section is about toxic coping strategies. Ours was, among other things, self-destructive behavior, one being alcohol and its presence in our life. If you are new here, you might not know that both Greg and I are over a decade sober, haven't had a drop of alcohol since August of 2015. Well, I have, but Greg hasn't. I haven't had a drop of alcohol since like April or May of 2016. No, 2014 for you, 2015 for me. Time goes so fast.
And let me
Anyway,
just say that decision, while it was scary and I had no idea what was going to happen, but that decision has been the catalyst for so much change in my life, in our life. And I can't, if someone would say, hey, what has been the biggest thing that you would say can help change the trajectory of someone's life, I would say that's the thing that has made the most impact on mine is choosing not to drink alcohol. It seems so inconsequential, but a decade later, a decade plus later, I can look back at that and be like, it's totally different from just
yeah.
that one thing in the mix. So
And my
sorry.
hope in using that as the example throughout this book, and specifically in this section, is that it helps people not only evaluate alcohol in their life, but just evaluate whatever coping strategy they're using in their life. So replace my examples of alcohol and all the dumb shit I did, or the acceptance of it in my life, just kind of because it was always there and in my face, with whatever that is for you, and evaluate how it fits in the decisions that you're making, whether
Yep.
that is how you spend your time, the people you surround yourselves with, like whatever that is for you.
Yeah.
That was my hope in this section. But this is going to be a kind of a different spin from the last time we did pick a page and landed in this section. This one is about how alcohol is just ever present in your life. So,
Okay.
page 153, I'm going to share a real fun, embarrassing story.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Whew. Finding, let's see, where should I begin?
Are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah, it's fine. So I'm talking about how much of an idiot I was when I would get drunk because I just, as many people do, if I'm being honest, you just kind of throw caution to the wind and whatever happens, happens. And I was talking about reflecting upon how when we lived in Ohio, we had familiarity and we had a lot of people around us that could like bail us out if we did something stupid, right? Like help
Hmm.
us with our kids, or, I need to sleep over tonight, or can you take me home? I passed out. Anyway, all of that familiarity gave me the protection I needed when I made terrible alcohol fueled choices. Familiarity in Ohio. And if you're new here, we moved from Ohio to Florida 11 years ago. And this is what I'm talking about. We decided to stop drinking when we moved to Florida. So finding myself in a dangerous situation didn't have the shock waves of consequences in Ohio that they would in Florida, because there was always a crew of people to cover for me. I think about the situations I got myself into back then and can't imagine what would have happened had they occurred while I was in this new place with no real community to rely on. I think about the time Greg was performing at an outdoor festival and I got totally loaded. I got totally loaded, sidebar. Every time Greg played, he was in a band, he played drums
Yeah.
in a band, and I got totally loaded every time. But this is just one of those times.
Yeah.
Uh, we got into a huge argument about who knows what, and he left me there. Since familiar faces surrounded me and I was too drunk to give a damn, I didn't care that I was stranded. I kept partying and socializing. Now, when I say he left me there, let me just back up a second. I'm sure I stomped my feet and was like, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And he
I was
left me
probably
there.
like, let's go. And you're like, ah.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe he shouldn't have left me, but yes, we were with a big group of people. So it's not like he just left me there by myself.
We're
Uh,
speculating. I'm sure that's probably what happened though, but
Ending up by myself was probably something I handled on my own after you already left. I'm just saying.
yeah.
So I kept partying and socializing. Did I mention that my cell phone had died too? That I had no money, no ID? Late into the night, I drunkenly wandered barefoot to the after party, my high heel shoes slung over my shoulder. I'd stumble into strangers on the sidewalk, linking into their arms so I could do-si-do with them, not a care in the world. To this day, I have no idea how I got to my destination, and I bristle when I think about what could have happened. Fact. Similar to that was when I was at a bachelorette party in Columbus, a place I knew like the back of my hand. The party, however, included a number of women I didn't know, even the host. Once at the bar, I was too busy getting annihilated and mingling to notice that the group was leaving. Eventually, I realized I was alone and stuck. Again, my cell phone battery was dead. I knew the group returned to the host's house, but I didn't know where that was because I didn't know her. But as happens when you've lived somewhere all your life, I ran into an old friend and crashed at his house. Thank God to him and his father for forgiving me for all of my drunken nights that they've witnessed. Ohio for me was like the protective padding you wear when you're playing sports, and I took advantage of it. I go on later to say, and this is where I want to go. First of all, I'm such an idiot, and I'm very lucky that I didn't. I'm very lucky. The world is a crazy place, and a lot of crazy shit happens. And when I say I bristle about thinking about what could have happened, I really do. Like, if I let myself go there, oh, what an idiot. Anyway, I know we've all been there. Maybe if your toxic coping strategy is shopping, you can't relate to that part. But shopping
Yeah.
presents its own dangers, to your wallet and all that.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So I go on to say life without alcohol makes you realize how often adults are confronted with it. Samples of wine come at you in the grocery store, and servers angle for you to make your virgin cocktail adult. Even situations that are about kids are also about imbibing. That's where I want to go after pick a page. Here's the thing. specifically with alcohol, but with other things, gossip, overspending, keeping up with the Joneses, gambling, porn. I don't care. Whatever your toxic coping strategy is, this applies. Those things are kind of like all in your face. Everybody's doing it. Everywhere you turn, it's easy to find a drink, someone who wants to talk shit about somebody, a X-rated site online, right? Social media, Jesus. Sometimes I pull up social media. I'm like, I don't follow this page. What the fuck is that? How did that get there? And sometimes you do. And I'm like, what's that? And you're like, I don't follow that, I swear.
I've been bamboozled.
But for real, like one of the things that we realized really quickly when we stopped drinking was that it's kind of like everywhere. And that can be really challenging when you're trying to make the choice to no longer participate in that said activity.
Yeah.
Because what you realize is that this has been normal to me my whole life. This is what I learned, what I saw, what my friends were doing, what I see online, whatever the case may be. And it's because it's what we've been conditioned to believe is normal. It's not normal to everybody. It's just, it's very out in front.
Yeah.
And we're tested every day with these things that are the easy way, sometimes, quote unquote, easy way to deal with your shit, to deal with the hard stuff. It was easier to just drink than to like dig into my insecurity that started when I was teased in high school. I mean, like, you get deep quick when you start removing some of those strategies.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I want you to keep in mind is that when you're making change, you're going to be swimming against the current, and it's going to be fucking hard sometimes to say no. And it's going to be really hard to like make adjustments to what your normal is, because it's going to be around every single corner. But I promise that if you decide that that's what you want for you, for your family, for your spouse, for your kids, for your life, you can decide against what's in front of you. You can turn the TV off. Cue Kendrick Lamar. Turn the TV off. I will never ever rap again on this podcast. I promise.
Okay.
But you can put the drink down. You can decide not to get the store credit card. Like, you can make those choices, even though they're right there, easy access for you at all times. And so I think it's really important to begin with reflecting, which is the first R of the reset button. There are 3 R's. If you heard the last Pick a Page episode, you know what I'm talking about. And if you didn't, you should go back and listen to it. But in the reflection stage of the 3R process of the reset button, it's to really understand and get real with yourself about what your coping mechanism actually is. So all of these things are like in all of our faces all the time. As I mentioned, ours was alcohol. There are many others. There are others that go on our list as well. But if you don't know what it is, and you're just kind of like letting everything come at you, you can't like decide to make a different choice. You're just going to go with it. And then you're going to land in this spot where you are do-si-doing on the sidewalk with people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like when you talk about us and you talk about the relationship with alcohol, the nasty, scary end result that could have been really bad is you do-si-doing on the sidewalk, or me in some alley. You know what I mean? Like you just, who knows? That's our story. But for somebody else, and for a lot of people out there, it might not be alcohol. It might be a big one that I think we're all around right now, and we've got to be aware of it, is social media. I'm a previous smoker, so I know what it's like to be really addicted to this, like, you know, constantly wanting to smoke a cigarette, like 2 packs a day for probably a decade, right? I mean, like it was a long time. I smoked a lot.
A
And
decade, I mean, maybe 2 decades.
yeah, I don't even,
15 years probably. I mean, it was a long time.
and that was a hard thing to quit, but I can tell you, like, Instagram, social media, they're equally as addicting, I feel like. That's why we always joke, like, well, I'm just gonna have a cigarette here, and you're like, do your, get on social media. I feel like that is something to be aware of, because you might not be putting yourself in a life or death situation, but you're putting yourself in a situation where you're wasting a lot of time, and you might be creating this narrative because the algorithm's getting so good at feeding it feeds me everything. And if I go Google search something, and next time I get on my Instagram, there's an ad for it. Or if I go buy some new software, there's some more ads for add-ons. It's literally disgusting. Like when you feel it, like I feel like I'm just part of this matrix that's just pushing products at me
Hmm.
because I take a step this way and it's like, oh, you know, this or that. So I'm pointing this out that like it's kind of like this invisible addiction that's taking us all under its ether, you know, this social media thing. And it's real because
Yeah.
it's addicting, you know.
And
Try to go use the bathroom or wait on somebody for 10 minutes and not get on your phone. I mean, you or go to a coffee shop, get a coffee and sit down and talk to somebody. It's like it wouldn't be possible, you know?
well, and here's the thing, you said maybe it's not life or death, but sadly, it can be. Social media exposes people to things that they wouldn't normally see, that our brains are not wired to handle
Yeah.
so much coming at us, right? And
Yeah.
digest. And it is in some cases a matter of life or death. It's a matter of mental health. It's a matter of self-esteem. It's a
Yeah.
matter of loneliness. It's a matter of disconnection from real people that you feel plugged in when you're on social media because you see what's going on in the outside world, but you're actually like really disconnected and not genuinely connected to anything in a lot of cases. It can get
Yeah.
that way. So like when you say that about alcohol and dosey doing in a back alley and we joke, it's funny, but it also can be true that this is as dangerous, as isolating, as addicting, as a strategy to cope with what really needs dealt with as
Yeah.
alcohol or any drug for that matter.
Yes, I agree with you. And not even to even compare it to or measure it against alcohol, but it's just definitely something to be aware of.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's the first, you know, thing about this is just being aware that this is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And because if you're not aware of it, it will take you under its ether and you will be part of this.
And that's with any coping mechanism. That's with
Yeah.
any way to distract yourself from what actually needs to be dealt with. And what
Yeah.
we're talking about how it's normal and it's just coming at you from all angles, scrolling social media when you jump in bed is like a normal thing. It's not even like it's a thing, it's a normalized thing. And it's a problem for our sleep. It's a problem for our presence. It's a problem for our relationships. Like awareness is key to recognize and get real with yourself about what your actual coping mechanism is, where it's coming at you from,
Yeah.
and then being able to say, well, I need to evaluate how this makes me feel and get really fucking honest with myself. Because if you don't get honest about what it's making you feel, you convince yourself that what it makes you feel is all of the positive things. Isn't that funny? I say that out loud and I hear I'm just spitballing. But when I evaluate things, a lot of times I veer toward the negative
Hmm.
because our minds work like that. Like, oh,
Hmm.
well, I missed this or I didn't do that. Or, you have this negative chatter sometimes, a lot of times. But in
Hmm.
this case, when it comes to toxic coping strategies, you find all the reasons why it's okay, all the reasons why it's not that big of a deal, because it helps you feel numb to the things that really are the big deal. Right?
Hmm.
Interesting. I've never really thought about it that way. Once you're aware of it and aware of how it makes you feel and you get really honest about it, then you can say, well, how is this impacting other areas of my life?
Yeah.
And so I use shopping as an example in the book and a couple of times in this episode already. I like to shop too. And I am an Amazon junkie. Shopping as a coping mechanism is a valid thing. I don't want to deal with this conversation with you, Greg. So I'm going to go shop and I'm going to drown myself in buying things because it gives me dopamine that makes me feel better as a coping strategy to not have to deal with the thing that really needs dealt with. And then that bleeds into other areas of your life. So not just with the relationship, but now my bank account's drained. Now, like these are the things that have to be considered when you are getting honest with yourself about what your coping strategy is. Because
Hmm.
like I mentioned, I could easily be like, well, but I'm just going to go buy a few things. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I have the budget for it. Like, I can find all the reasons why it's okay if I'm trying to justify it and make it make sense that it's keeping me from addressing the real things, which is what a coping strategy is. In case you just landed on this planet, you didn't need me to tell you that. And then the next question that it leads you to is, well, is that really in alignment with the life that I want to lead? So, what's my coping mechanism? How does that make me feel? What areas of my life is it impacting that are not so obvious as a direct result, or as an indirect result, rather? And then, is that in alignment with what I really want to do and be and how I want to handle things? You know?
100%. And that is why I look at everything, every situation, is this helping or hurting?
Mm-hmm. Tweet. Is tweeting a thing? Now it's called X. It's not even Twitter anymore, but write that down, people. Is this helping or hurting? That's a huge question. And
Everything.
that's not just with regard to coping mechanisms, right? That's with regard to like my opinion. Do I need to say that right now? Is it helping or hurting? In my opinion is always helping. That was a joke. Nobody
Well,
thought that was funny. Greg didn't think that was funny.
no, I'm sorry. I'm deep in thought here about this because it just makes you think about like every area of your life, you can evaluate like that.
Yeah.
Is this helping or hurting? Not just alcohol, not just social media, not just, shopping or whatever. Like some things are just there's no redeeming. Like smoking cigarettes, well, it made me feel like I was doing something, I was doing nothing, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like once you can kind of work through that with some brutal honesty and be like, all right, I'm not doing this. This is not helping me, you know?
Yeah. And it's hurting you in many ways,
Yeah.
not just the obvious ways.
And then you just have to deal with the withdrawal symptoms and it's not easy to quit. I mean, it's hard to do.
It's not easy to quit anything. And you know what? You use the word quit. And here's the thing about that. We always frame quitting as a negative thing when we talk about perspective and negative and positive and, justification. But quitting can be a positive thing.
Yeah.
If you are able to answer the question, is this helping or hurting, with real, brutal honesty and agency over your own choices and your own
Yeah.
health and your own mental health and relationships?
And not bullshit yourself. I mean, having a good bullshit meter is very valuable in life with when you're dealing with other human beings
Yeah.
because you
We're
know,
watching this
but
show. It's called Poker Face.
yeah,
It's
that's
Natasha
right.
Lyonne. It's on Peacock.
Peacock, yeah.
It's very good. It's like just every episode has a caper that all leads to like this one big theme of the show. She's running from trouble, and she is a human lie detector test. Like I don't even know how or why. Maybe they didn't discuss it yet, but or I just didn't catch it, but like she has the ability to tell. I mean, maybe we all do, really, but let's park that. She has the ability to tell if somebody's lying. Like they tell her something and she'll be like, bullshit. She has like a visceral reaction to what they're saying. And it's a
It's a
very
good
good
show.
show.
Yeah.
So it's right in alignment with what we're talking about, is like having this bullshit meter of like what's real and what's actually not. And that brings me back to what I parked, is like we all have that if we listen, if we pay attention and we're
Yeah.
willing to say, that's bullshit. I'm bullshitting myself. That person's full of shit. We just choose to ignore it because sometimes it's easier
We
to ignore it, or it's
yeah.
more in the moment emotionally, feels better.
Yeah. We might want something or want something to be real so badly that we ignore our gut feeling about it. And if we would call bullshit on ourselves, we'd
Yeah.
be like, eh, it's not easy stuff. I mean, we're far from having it mastered, but like just again, being aware that this is how you as a human being operate on a daily basis. You bullshit yourself all the time because you're constantly hardwired for comfort. So you make excuses. I don't want to work out. I don't want to
Yep.
eat good. I mean, that's a constant battle. It can't just be me. I'm sure a
Nope.
lot of people feel that way. But having the ability to call yourself out, I think, is step one.
Yeah, I agree. I was looking for the spot. I know it's around here somewhere in the book where I talk about that. We are hardwired for pleasure and
Yeah.
try to avoid pain.
Hmm.
So it's legit science that happens in the anatomy and physiology of our body. Like it's what we do as a species. What happens next to help you get through those moments? And in my opinion, and one of the things that I lay out, and this is in the reset part of the 3 R's, the part where you decide I'm going to do something different. I got curious. I figured these things out. I'm listening to myself now. Then you have to make a decision that you're going to embrace change and you're going to do things differently than you always have. And in that reset moment, as it pertains to your coping strategies or the things that you do to avoid pain or maximize pleasure, it's that you have to find an alternative approach. Like you have to decide when we stopped drinking, we had to decide like, okay, how are we going to handle certain situations where alcohol was the main player in the game?
Hmm.
Okay, so this is such a basic example, but it's the first one that pops to mind. Is we went to a music festival. We're huge music fans. If you don't know, now you do. We go to a lot of concerts. We love live music. It's been a huge part of our life. Greg's a musician. I guess I am too. We're in a band together. For the love of God, just embrace it, cameo. Sorry, tangent. But we went to this music festival, the first concert we had been to since we stopped drinking, and we had to find like an alternative approach to filling that space. And this is surface level of like having a drink in our hand. So we found something as an alternative, lemon shake-ups and conversation, and we had a blast. But deeper than that is that we then found what I refer to as a face it strategy. Instead of like dismissing any uncomfortableness in our life or any, stress associated with the setting, we connected in a different way through like finding new things and new approaches to handling difficult people who are drunk and acting like idiots around us, or to handling like our transportation, like just all the things. Like you have to be prepared. My point is to know what you're going to do differently. Like be prepared, have a plan for what that is. Because if you're acting on autopilot, as you always have with whatever this strategy is, you have to make a conscious decision of what to do differently. It's not just going to happen. You're not just going to
Yeah.
like show up tomorrow and all of a sudden respond differently.
Yeah.
You have to have a plan and you have to practice and you have
Yeah.
to be conscious of it. So the thing is, we get squirmy and then we're like, oh, I don't want to face it. Well, if you want to make meaningful change in your life, you have to decide that you're going to face it and how to.
Yeah. And stop bullshitting yourself.
Yeah. It doesn't say stop bullshitting yourself, but the page I just turned to,
Well, I'm a caveman, and
that's the basic level
just
of
stop bullshitting yourself.
stop rationalizing the negative impact. And we kind of touched on that. I
Yeah.
thought about it kind of in a different way, but like we dismiss how negative it is in our life by justifying why it's okay. We don't
Yeah.
do that with anything else. And then one other thing that I'd like to touch on here, and we talked about this also in a way when I mentioned about quitting always being a negative thing, but how it's can be a positive thing. Uh, think about the potential gain rather than the loss. So when you stop doing this thing, stay connected to the end result of like, okay, well, instead of like dismissing these negative feelings or emotions that I haven't dealt with, uh, and feeling like I'm losing out on the dopamine or the feel good that I normally fill that space with, think about the gain of what could possibly happen in your life when you start really unpacking the things that keep you stuck or keep you limited.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
If you're able to flip the perspective there and see things as like
What,
possibility.
yeah. I mean, and along the lines of drinking, what you gain immediately if you do stop drinking just for even like 30 days is you'll notice a whole lot of extra time.
God, the amount of time wasted in my 20s with drinking and then being hungover and thinking about drinking and planning drinking and stopping and getting, I mean, Jesus criminy crickets. It was a lot of time that I wish
Yeah.
I had back.
And we don't have to destroy drinking. It's, everyone can choose whatever they want to do. It's your journey. That's the point of this, But just again, before I stopped, I always wondered, how much. Actually, I didn't really wonder, but I never knew how
There
much
you
of
go.
a difference it would make, and that's all. I just because I know it's hard when you make a decision in the beginning, especially your friend group has been built around alcohol, and you're like, nah, I'm not gonna. You're all of a sudden you're an outcast, and we're hardwired that means death to us
Hmm.
as a species. If you're, not part of the tribe, then you go off in the woods and die.
Hmm. Yeah, and that actually kind of circles back and closes the loop of like it's always in your face, and that feeling is real, and it
Yeah.
is very difficult.
It's a fear. It's a real fear.
Yeah.
So, just whatever the thing is,
Take your
you're
power back.
take your power back.
Take your
There
power
you
back.
go. There you go.
Uh, I'll leave you with this that you can write down and have it right in front of you for a moment when you need it. Change your words instead of saying, I can't drink or I can't, you know, use this method of whatever it is, whatever your thing is. Once you've established what that is, change it to I don't drink. That's my power now. That's not giving
Mhm.
power to the behavior, that's giving power to me and my choice. And that can be really huge because words are powerful. What we tell ourselves up here, whoo, it can be really help or hurt, right?
Yeah. Help or hurt.
And if you start taking control and changing those words, you take your power back. So thank you, Greg, for picking the page,
Yeah.
picking the roulette stopping point, and thank you all for your feedback and your enthusiasm for Pick Your Page, because that means that the first time we did it must have made an impact, and hopefully this time will too. So you can pick up your copy of the reset button. Like Greg said, Jeff Bezos has it.
And then you can pick your own page.
Yeah. Hey, look at that. That's right. And we're so grateful that you're here. This isn't just always about my book. The podcast is supposed to help you feel empowered to take charge of your life. And those two things play well together from time to time. So we do like to bring it up and bring up some ideas from it. But we have great guests on this show. We have new episodes every Wednesday where people share their strengths, their weaknesses, their triumphs, their challenges. And I hope it meets you where you are and helps you in some way. And if it did, that you'll share it with somebody else who might find it useful too. So in the event that you're just joining us for the first time, thank you. In the event that you're joining us for the 100 and somethingth time, we really appreciate that you're
We
here.
really thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you get a lot of
That's
thank you, and the
amazing.
new person just gets a little. Just kidding.
Uh,
But we are very grateful, and we hope to see you again. Until next time.